Hello everybody and welcome to another mystery box function challenge. In the purple box there is some mystery math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. You can use the link in the description to try this out, and when you think you've got an idea, come on back and see if we get the same thing. All right, let's start with a 0. Ah, so 0 is giving us infinity, or the infinity error, and that's a clue that maybe we have a rational function because when 0 is on the bottom of a fraction, that's the kind of error you get. So it's maybe some variation of 1 over x. Let's put in some more numbers to see. So 1 gives us 2, so it's not just 1 over x, because that should give us 1. How about a 2? And that's 1.5. How about a 3? Oh, and that's 1 and 1/3. Interesting. I might have an idea about this already. I'm going to put in a 10 actually. And 10 gives us 1.1. Okay. I think I might know what's going on. Now, the reason I put in the 10 is I wanted something far out here because in a just the plain old 1 over x, you'd have these two arms, one in the first quadrant, one in the third quadrant, and our asymptotes would be the axes. So the x-axis would be one of the asymptotes, the horizontal asymptote. It looks like that asymptote has been raised up 1 because we're getting closer and closer to the value 1 for y, but never reaching it. Let's try some fractional values too. So 1/2. Okay, yep, that makes sense. And then maybe 1/10. This should be interesting too. And that's giving us 11. Not on the graph, but actually that's a useful point. And we can plot some in the negatives too. I'm pretty sure we're going to get another arm similar. So let's do -1. And -2. And let's do -1/2. And let's do -1/10. Okay, so you can see the two arms we have here, and you can see basically how they're constructed. We know there's an asymptote here at y equals 1, but what is the fraction here? What's actually going on? So because we had infinity error at 0, I think there is just a plain old x on the bottom. So I think we got the bottom. There's something else going on the top. And I started noticing this in these first few numbers that we put in. So when we put in 1, we got 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reconstruct that. So here's our x, here's our y. When we put in 1, we got 2. I'm going to write this as a fraction. And when we put in 2, we got 1.5, which is 3/2. And when we put in 3, we got 1 and 1/3, which is 4/3. So the reason I wrote those as fractions is because I noticed that pattern. The top of the fraction is always the x number plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bottom is always x. So I think up here we've just got x plus 1. But let's use that guess to check some other points because we had some interesting ones here. So we had this 10 is 1.1. Does that work out? So that'd be 10 plus 1 over 10. That'd be 11 divided by 10. Yeah, that is 1.1. How about this -9 here? That's an interesting one with -1/10. So we've got -1/10 plus 1 over -1/10. So on the top, -1/10, and this is 10/10 would be +9/10 over -1/10. And we've got a negative in the bottom and not on the top, so the answer is going to be negative. And then if we multiply both top and the bottom by 10, which we're allowed to do because it's just like multiplying by 1, you would get 9 over 1. So it's -9, and that fits. Wow, was a tricky one, I think. Let's see if we're right. Yeah, we've got x plus 1 over x, and we can graph that as well. Very much like the graph for 1 over x, it's just been raised up by 1 so that the asymptote is here at y equals 1. Well, how did that go for you? I think that was a super tricky one. Let me know. Thanks, everybody.